Punishment. Are you punishing yourself, or are you punishing your partner and you don't even know it? Or maybe you do know it because you're stuck in that cycle and that pattern to make yourself feel better. This is a story about a couple that were able to transcend and move beyond the cycle of punishment and victim, perpetrator and victim. And they were able to do so because they paused and they had enough maturity to understand and enough connection and willingness to be in the relationship to understand that this cycle of punishment to make someone else hurt and make you feel better and empowered and in control is not a healthy pattern to be in. So let me share the story. This couple were moving. They were moving country. And they had divided up responsibilities, what was necessary to move country. This is a real story, by the way. And one of those responsibilities, they were bringing their pup with them, their dog. And one of the responsibilities of the wife was to ensure that all the paperwork is done. All in order so that this dog can come with them and live with them overseas. When they got to the border of this new country, the paperwork wasn't done properly. And there was a risk of the dog being euthanized. Imagine this dog being with them for years. Now, best case scenario was they ended up going back home, back to their original home, sorted out the paperwork, and 3 to 4 days later they came back to that country and the dog wasn't euthanized. So it's a healthy outcome. It's a great outcome for the story. But let's go into the minutiae of this. As I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, we were speaking to the intricacies of this conversation and what it brought up for him and for them. There was some chaos in leaving. There was some challenges in leaving. And he wanted to revert to punishment and blame. He wanted to hurt his partner. Not because he wanted to cause malice towards it, because he wanted to self-regulate and make himself feel better. He felt out of control and out of his power. He was at the mercy of the authorities. If they wanted to euthanize their dog, what could he really do? He'd be put in jail if he fought it. So it was a lose-lose in his mind, and he felt so out of control. And the masculine often, when we feel out of control and we couple that with growing up in an abusive environment or a violent environment or a volatile environment, such as this young man had been, we want to grasp at control and will often punish other people, either verbally or emotionally or physically or whatever, to make ourselves feel better. Here's the interesting thing with this though, particularly with trauma. Let me just pull it back for a minute. So we process about 11 million bits of information per second unconsciously or implicitly. At the same time, we're processing about 50 to 60 bits of information per second consciously or explicitly. So there's 11 million bits versus 50 bits of information that's being processed and absorbed by the body unconsciously. When we move into conflict, so if this man if he was to project and blame and say to his partner, all you had was this task to do, or I took care of all my tasks, what about you? You didn't do this, the most important thing, etc., etc. And they were in that conflict and in that tension, in that trauma bonding, that trauma pattern. Millions of bits of information, billions of bits of information over minutes are coming through both of them. And that's storing in the body as unconscious trauma. Now, building trust, whether it's sexually, emotionally, psychologically, relationally in that dynamic, becomes more and more difficult because the body is weary. She's going to feel like she's walking on eggshells. He's going to feel guilt and shame. It's going to go unresolved. Now, instead of him projecting, instead of him punishing his partner, they sat and they spoke about it. They were connected and calm. They came from a loving place. They were grounded in equanimity, calm in the face of chaos. And what he shared with me was that approach that he took, instead of punishing her or blaming her or projecting his anger, his unregulated anger on her, he chose to do his inner work. He chose to be present to all of that. He chose not to attack. He chose to ask questions. He felt and witnessed her already shame and guilt that she was feeling, her despair at potentially losing this member of their family, this dog, and also the quote-unquote mistake that she made and the difficulty that she had to go through in dealing with that. And he nurtured that and he was compassionate to that. And in turn, she was able to open up to him and trust him because he didn't react. He didn't try and make himself better. He didn't let his old shit from the past come to the surface. Whether it was because he was bullied as a kid or told he wasn't good enough by his father, or wasn't seen by his parents, wasn't appreciated and accepted for who he was. And instead of making all of this present moment stuff mean that, and the past, the tumultuous past that he's maybe experienced, amplify the present moment and make the present moment mean the same thing, he chose to look at it differently. He chose to inspire himself, and so did she. She didn't choose to react as well and fall into her old patterns. And so we often do this when we are unable to regulate our emotional selves, when we're in panic, when we feel in fear, when we feel unsafe, when we are nervous, when we're scared. We struggle and we project onto others and we blame others and we punish others to make ourselves feel better. And it's not because we want to be malice towards others. It's because we want to gain a sense of control over our environment. And exerting power and control over others is a shadow masculine, is an unhealthy masculine way of doing life. So we get to change that narrative. And sacred union and healthy relationships are a fertile ground for growth and expansion and increasing awareness of self and healing the past traumas and doing the inner child work, because our partners are beautiful mirrors and reflections for us, into us. So if you can take away anything from this message is, are you projecting unconsciously and are you reacting to life because you feel scared? And what can you do to nurture yourself? How can you make yourself feel safe? Because in those moments, it wasn't about what she forgot to do or didn't do properly. It was about him feeling out of control and what he needed to do to take responsibility for that feeling and that space that he was occupying within himself, to not project that into the relationship, to cause permanent or long-term damage in the relationship. Power and blessings to you. I'll see you soon.